Hello and welcome. Welcome to my show, Angelic Life with Life Clarifications with Natasha. I've had a very busy day, so kind of going crazy here, but not crazy, crazy. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. And it's one of those days, and oh my gosh, one of those lives lately, hasn't it? Because we've all been going a little bit of craziness and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So, I'm Natasha Venter, and I'm a psychic medium. I am one who loves to watch shows. Um, Hello there, Angela. How you doing? Thank you for being here. It's one of those things that as we're going through life, and oh my gosh, what an amazing dance this has been. And I hope that you know that you're loved as you're going through these roller coaster rides of emotions and all that kind of stuff, because we're all going through something. And in my background here, oh, that's my stuffed animal from when I was a kid. I'm actually organizing a part of my house, so all my things are coming out. Oh, I'm glad you're good. And I'm doing good too. It's been one of those dances of where emotions have been. And actually, in my morning job where I'm doing, helping in a school, and that's my day job, morning job. I'm there for just a couple hours. And, I just love to help support teachers, and, I'm actually supporting the teachers more than I'm supporting the kids in a way, but I am supporting the kids in my own unique way that I do. And, it's one of those things. So, I wanted to talk about self esteem here because a lot of us are struggling with self esteem. And, we're all struggling with how do I fare in this dance of life? And I just thought that today would be a good day to talk about that because I know I've struggled with self esteem quite a bit. And, it's not an easy dance to build ourselves up and do our thing and do our work and that kind of stuff. And it's kind of interesting. The light is really shining right now. But it's going to go dark and, here in a little bit. But yet, I think the day is getting longer, which is grateful up here in the Northern Hemisphere. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're probably getting a little darker. But it's the dance of life is just amazing how we can negotiate our own emotions. And the emotions are something that if we become more friends with it, then they don't bother us as much. And that's one thing that I wanted people to know is that I was talking with a friend of mine, and she was saying that even though I'm grieving my dad because she just lost her dad within the last month or so of here, that and she's ready to bring another life in, that that she was finding that she was okay for a moment. And I said, yes, because once you find out your emotions are here to help you, here to negotiate with you, here to support you, here to show you who you are, then you become less triggered by them. And that's the dance that we need to negotiate with, is how do we become more friendly with our emotions? And this is just a show, on this dance. And if you want a little bit more work, I can help you personally, because the fact that, I do a private session, I can help you out a little bit more with how do you negotiate this and how do you negotiate that. And life is about finding those depths. And that's why our soul is here, is to help ourselves get to that point um, I don't want to call it enjoyment. What's the word I want to say? That there's that the purposefulness. There we go. There's the word. The purposefulness of why are we here is to truly learn how to be human, how to learn the lessons and the experiences. Well, and I talked about that last week about, where what my soul's journey was last week's talk on life clarifications with Natasha. So if you want to hear a little bit about my story, that's when I did it. But, this dance of our emotions and these things and our self-esteem, many of us start out being a bright light. Our soul is a bright light. Our knowing is a bright light. And yet, when we get into the human form, we gain these other struggles, the struggles with the emotions and that kind of stuff. Oh, and if you're watching me on Twitter, I noticed that a couple people have been watching me on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, I don't get your notes or your comments. So if you'd like to comment, please go to my YouTube channel, Natasha Venter Angelic Clarifications, and you can make comments there if you'd like to. I just wanted to give that heads up. But thank you for watching. I'm so grateful when people watch because I just love that this is a conversation, this is a knowing. And so if you've been struggling with low self esteem, low knowings, that low, and some people might call it depression. And, a lot of us have been working, hi, Veronica, have been really struggling with a lot of these dances of knowings of who we are. And, many of us stay in the past where we struggle with who we used to be, right? But it's not who we used to be, it's who we are today that we need to really look at it, because all of our experiences made us who we are today. And I kind of, for me personally, I kind of like who I am today. And I don't know if everybody can say that, but I can tell you though that those all those experiences and lessons, instead of punishing ourselves for those choices we made, and a lot of us stay there. Well, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? That we get into these stuck moments of the past, and those past moments don't we can't go back and fix them, right? So how can we move forward? And that's about being in today, right? But those emotions are a little bit late in the processing, right? So how can we deal with those emotions, especially when we are negotiating some low self-esteem? And I can tell you I've had a lot of work with that. And I was going to talk a little bit today about dyslexia, because of the fact that you know, me be having dyslexia like I do, that I didn't read it really until after high school. If it wasn't for my friends at school, I wouldn't have graduated. I wouldn't have gotten anywhere really without my friends. Well, I thought they were my friends at least. I'm not friends with any of them now, but as we go forward in managing our life, that we gain these moments of life of how can we do. And I know for me, I dealt with so low self-esteem for a lot, because when you can't read and you're a slow thinker, you're slow at processing. And I'm much better now than I've ever been. I'm very quick processing now. I'm very quick at doing things. But at the same time though, how can I negotiate things that you know going forward, that it's a moment of being in the here and the now. Um, there's many miracles that are happening every moment of our day that we don't really classify as miracles, right? So when we're going forward and negotiating many of our stories and many of our things, that we get caught up in the drudgery of it, right? And I was having a conversation with someone, and and it was interesting how I almost used the words that she was kind of putting me in a box, because of the fact that I struggle with certain things. Yes, I do struggle with things, but then that doesn't mean I struggle with everything, right? And so with that going forward, there's always a way to negotiate life. And when you find a way, when you find that knowing, when you find how we can do it, there is this processing of going through things. But a lot of us stay stuck in the negative. Well, that's one of the reasons why we go into this lower self-esteem, because we get caught up in what other people think of us. Well, like I was having a conversation with somebody today, because I said, I need some clarity. I need some knowing. I need some, why is this happening when I know that I can do it? Well, and I kind of caught that other person in a scenario, because I'm not that person. Just because there's a snapshot of a single moment, I'm not that person. Oh, I see what I'm doing to you. Mhm. And I know I'm not that person that they think I am, but I want to update them, right? So with that, do those things that can help our self-esteem. And I'm still processing what she was saying and what was going on and this conversation. I'm okay. I'm definitely okay. But it's that, how do I negotiate these stories? And how do I stay out of the mind? The mind likes to really play trick on us, you know that. And, the mind really wants to say, well, you don't know anything. You're not going anywhere. You just don't want to be anywhere. What are you doing? What do you think you are? And then the brain is like going, you know, well, who wants to listen to when we can really listen to what our heart wants to say? Our heart's saying, you're amazing. Keep shining. Keep being you. Your gut, when you go into that, it starts going, I don't want to digest food. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And then you start doing it. But that's the thing is about life is how do I negotiate? How do I be? How do I become better at who I am? By being. Capital B, capital E, capital I, capital N, and G. Because when we're being in the moment, we're our better self. And I know that we judge ourselves by other people, right? A lot. We judge ourselves by other people a lot. And, going forward in who we are, and this is about how do we be. But I know for me, not being able to do reading as in high school or in grade school or whatever, not really being able to do math in either of them, and struggling. And like my husband always said, you speak Natashanese, when we first met, because he didn't understand really what I was saying because I was saying sentences backwards. I was doing all these things. Well, can you tell that now? No, because I'm trusting that part of me that knows what to do. I'm trusting that part of me that knows what to do. And my part of me that knows what to do is the speaking part of me, that being part of me, the knowing part of me. And that's one thing that I wish I would have said to this person is that I had how many supervisors who trusted me. Why can't you? Ooh, that's a good one, right? I have people who trust me. Why can't you? And doing life and doing these knowings and shining our light and teaching that it is this dance of who we are. And no matter where we're at and where we're going and what's happening, life is about life. So do those things to bring up your self-esteem. What is it? Ask yourself the question. What is it that can really bring your self-esteem up? Reading a good book. That's a good one. I read every night because I know that it's helping. It keeps me reading, right? What's another thing that keeps you going? I know for me, dancing. I danced the other night, last Friday night, about 6 hours because I love dancing to good music. I love dancing. Okay. Well, and good music's a perspective. So I'm not going to say what is good music. It is about perspective. So whatever you like to listen to is good music to you, right? What's another thing that helps you feel good about you? Hmm. What is it that helps you feel good about you? Buy yourself flowers. Hmm. Has anybody brought themselves flowers lately so you can see them? I know I haven't. Has anybody said to somebody else, you're doing a good job? And they say it back. Why do people want us around? Because we're happy? Because we're negotiable? Because we like to do things? Right? So, how can we do these dances? And just like my stuffed animals here over my shoulder, one's a bear and well, they're both bears actually. And they're my childhood stuffed animals. I just couldn't get rid of them. I couldn't get rid of them because they're a part of me, right? Just like everything else. When was the last time you hugged a stuffed animal? That's why they're sitting in the chair because I kind of hugged them for a little while the other night. I'm fine, but there's these moments where we have these humannesses. And that's what I like to call life is there's these humannesses. We get human and those emotions come about, right? And it's okay if we're down for a little bit. It's okay if we struggle for a little bit. It's okay if we negotiate things a little bit. But I can tell you, staying in one place for very long is not a good thing. So if you're finding yourself down and depressed, there is a difference between low self-esteem and depression, right? Because low self-esteem is about our image of ourselves. How is that image of ourselves? And when we're going forward, how do we feel about ourselves? Well, I can tell you one way to fix it. Have you talked to yourself in the mirror lately? Have you talked to yourself in the mirror lately? A lot of us just look in the mirror and put on our makeup and then brush our hair, brush our teeth, and look at something that was maybe, a little, wrinkles here or there, as we're getting a little older. But have we looked in the mirror lately and said, "You're doing a good job"? Have you looked in the mirror lately and looked in your eyes to see how clear your eyes are, how sparkly they are? Because they're the window of our soul, right? As the saying goes. So, how clear are we seeing life? Are we filtering it through a filter that's not so good for us? What is our health like? Because I can tell you, negotiating some of these stories of life and negotiating some of these wisdoms that we're getting, they're pretty drudgery. And I can tell you, oh my gosh, if you have been in this world lately, it has been not easy. And it's pretty taxing and it's pretty low grading. Ugh. But that's not who we are. That is definitely not who we are. We are not the circumstances of us. We are our us. We are us. I am me. I am me. And I am damn lucky to be where I'm at. I've worked hard at it. I've gotten pretty good at where I'm at. And like I've said lately, that, it's like this white bookshelf here I got for 50 bucks at a girlfriend's house who's getting rid of it. You know, these bookshelves here were clearance, you know. So you can get things at amazing dances, but that doesn't represent who you are. These things are not me. They're a representation of me, but they're not me. I think the closest thing that represents me is the wings in the window there. Because, it is a dance, but how can we negotiate that? Well, I know for me that, a lot of times when I was growing up, my dad would put me in the front of the mirror. Tasha, in front of the mirror, and I want you to say how much you love yourself. And it wasn't easy, right? That definitely wasn't easy. But he would stand with me and help me as he helps me today, even though he's been gone for 30 years now. Oh my gosh. My kid's going to be 30 this year. Can you imagine that? And so my 30-year-old was 6 weeks away from being out of my tummy when my dad died. Talk about a low blow. At the same time, though, my circumstances were not me. Even though my circumstances did drag me down, but I also knew being pregnant that I could not fall into depression because that would be rewiring my kid's brain to more of a, I don't want to call it a negativeness, but, you know, that processing. So, how can we negotiate some of these emotions? And, it's okay that we go through the grief process. It's okay if we get angry. It's okay if we're sad. It's okay if we have a down moment. It's okay if we are happy and joyful. It's okay if we struggle a little bit. If it's okay if we are opposite of other people's emotions, because that's what makes us human. And being human is our job here on earth. So when we are having emotional days, that the wisdom will come from that. So don't discredit your emotions, please, because they're here. But I can tell you that everybody's beautiful in your own individual way. Everybody, I'm going to say that again. Everybody is beautiful in their own unique way. And when we can have that unique way of being you, what is the best trick you can do? Is to be you. Don't worry about what your parents told you, or brother or sister, or children after they're angry with you when they're 18 and trying to get the guts to move out, and they get mad at you because you're the safe place to fall, right? How can we negotiate some of these down spirals? Well, I can tell you, find out why you're there. What's triggered you there? I know for me, what is one of my triggers is other people's perception. I've had a story in dyslexia, having dyslexia, of being claimed, I don't want to call it stupid, but that's the quickest way I can find. Because people think that since I couldn't read, that I couldn't think, right? I can do pretty damn good. I'm a pretty good thinker. If I don't know it, my intuitiveness knows it, right? So being dyslexic doesn't mean I'm stupid, but it doesn't mean that I do things all well. That's why my newsletters are now having videos in them, because it's easier for me to video than it is for me to write. So going forward in our life and managing our life, when we have these lower thoughtful moments of ourselves, a lot of us think that we're perfectionists. Oh my gosh. I had a kindergartner today who said, I need a picture because I need to draw it perfect. I looked at him and said, art is not perfect. Art is not meant to be perfect. Art is meant to be flowing and being. But yet a kindergartner thought art should be perfect. Does that tell you how we grow up thinking that we need to have perfection in our life? And then think about how many times after that we start feeling like we fail, right? Hello, man on the moon. Okay, so um, I'm so grateful everybody's saying hello, but this is something a little bit more. Self knowledge and self love are the source of confidence, not only in oneself, but also confidence in the universe, since each person is the center of its own universe. Very well said. Thank you very much for saying that. I am so grateful because that statement, that's the way I find is that I have a knowing of that statement, but getting it out there, thank you for putting those words. That's why you find me using simpler words. That's why you see me dealing with the 3D world so well, because my vocabulary isn't read vocabulary. My vocabulary is lived vocabulary. I have lived my life. I have lived my knowings. I have witnessed my knowings. So I don't read my vocabulary. I know my vocabulary. That's why I use the word negotiate, navigate, witness, all these key words. Love. I know what divine love is. I felt it, seen it, witnessed it, heard it. Oh my gosh, I've heard divine love. you think that was possible? It is. So, being with yourself, with love. So, start, if you can start anything after this conversation that I'm having with you, find a moment where you tell yourself you're loved. Valentine's Day, write your own Valentine's to yourself. If you have a mate, write one to them too. Because of the fact that if we love ourselves, it begins the spark of amazingness. Spark of amazingness. Like I'm reading one of Nora Roberts' last trilogies, and it's about the story of a woman who had low self-esteem because her mother told her she was no good, right? And then she became to be one of the top people to save another world, right? Well, she has a friend who lovingly is himself, and he's wearing a bright pink shirt with a flamingo tie, um, black jeans, bright pink shoes, right? And he's pulling it off. It's written, but I can image it because I have such good ways of imaging things that he pulls it off because he believes in himself. And that is the trick. If we can believe in ourselves, the sky is the limit. Space is the limit. And I can tell you the difference between me and somebody else is I trust. I trust my guidance. I trust the knowing. I trust where we're going. And I trust that even though life is going to be hard, it's my perception that helps me get out of it. And like I was having a conversation with some girls today in school, and I was saying how much gratitude is the best thing to change any image we have. So if you can find gratitude for something, and like I said, find gratitude. The sky is blue. Oh, it's not raining today. I'm grateful. I'm upright. I woke up this morning. I can blink. I can see. I can breathe. Oh, I can taste. I have lips. I'm grateful I have lips. I'm grateful I have eyelashes. You know how many people don't have eyelashes? I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I still have my childhood stuffed animals to think how far I've come. To think how far I've come. Isn't that a statement? So if you're grateful for how far you come, because I know there's some very tremendous, amazing things that all of us have gone through. If you survived COVID, you've gone through something. And that's just been recently, right? Can't discredit all the years you had before. Just like I can't, thank you, Veronica. You're grateful too. I love that. Thank you. Gonna put that up there. I am grateful. Yes, you know, gratitude is huge for this dancing we're on. So believe in who you are because no matter what, there's always something to be grateful for. And I can tell you when you're going through life and going through this management of who we are, even though I struggle with writing, even though I struggle with reading, there's some restaurants I go to and I go, what's that word? Even me as an adult. And I'm not saying that I'm any different than anybody else. This is my own story, right? Because there's a lot of people who are very aware of what's going on. Like there's even math dyslexia, right? Forget what it's called. There's also writing dyslexia. So you can know what you want to say, but it's hard to write it, right? And so when you have something that's your brain is wired in a unique way, but I can tell you, my unique knowings are my soul's signature. I can tell you, I have witnessed myself in many past lives that I was dyslexic. It wasn't called that then. And I got through better when we weren't writing a whole bunch. But I've always had this type of signature with my soul because of the fact that I was meant to have a different awareness. And that's the gift that my dyslexic self gave me, was the awareness of something else. To trust that part of myself that knew what to do. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about that there's a part of you that knows what to do? That's a kind of a weird thought, isn't it? There's a part of me that knows what to do. Some people would call it your higher self. Some people would call it your soul. Some people would call it your guides, your angels, right? How can you trust that part of you that knows what to do? They're inspirational little notes. Take a right. As you're driving down the road, take a right. All of a sudden you hear, take a right. You think it. You know it. You just feel it. Take a right. That's a part of that, trusting that part of you that knows what to do. What's that feeling you get, that gut feeling you have? That's a part of you that knows what to do. All of a sudden, you're saying something and you wonder where it came from. That's that part of you that knows what to do. And I can tell you that when you start trusting life and you start being in life, your self esteem rises, gets cleaner, less heavy. And when we can go forward and do this dance, do the knowings of our life, going forward in our life, being who we are, it's amazing where we can be when we're sitting there on our beds or laying in our bed and having these negative thoughts about our day. I would check in first before you, when you're reviewing your day, because we all tend to do that somehow. Whose thoughts are in your head? Whose answers, whose looks, yeah, whose looks are in your head, whose conversations are in your head, whose all these things are in your head. One never knows why some other people think what they do, because they have low self-esteem, right? So believe in who you are, believe in what's going on, because the stories of ourselves are never true unless they're light and happy. So if you've got something that's saying to you, well, why are you thinking you can do that? Where is that coming from? Oh my gosh, girl, yeah, you're wearing the most ugliest thing in the world. Who's saying that? No, I can say that there's some things that, like today, somebody said, that pink looks good on you. Thank you. I also felt good in the purple I wore yesterday. Felt kind of good in the navy blue I wore the day before that. I'm kind of struggling with, but I'm finding a way. When we're thinking about things, now I can say though that, talking about color, I can tell you color makes a big difference. So if you find you're wearing black all the time, wear some color. That's where I do Louise Hay's numerology. So there's certain days or certain colors. So let me get to a calendar here. I have not done that far in advance. So like on this, I don't know if you can see it, but I have like these numbers 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6. So Louise Hayes has these dates that 1 through 9, because there's a 9 cycle day, and each color has a day. So when I add up these numbers, number 1 is red, number 2 is orange, or it's 11-2, which is black, grays, and whites. And then number 3 is yellow, number 4 is green, turquoise, navy blue, purple, pink, browns, and then pastels for number 9. And Number 1 is about new beginnings, 9 is about endings. So it's that 9 cycle, right? But I can tell you, changing up my colors a day changes up me. How can we negotiate these stories? So today I decided to wear a pink fuzzy because I needed kind of a pinker fuzzy, right? So I can have a little bit more love for myself. And actually, I sat down to a kid who was having a little bit of problems, and pretty soon he's kind of looking over me. I said, "Did you want to touch it?" And he touched it. Oh, that's soft. I said, "Yeah." And it's soft on the inside too. And so we had a conversation. Going from down here to go up there, what can you do to bring yourself up? Because self esteem is not supposed to stay down. We have moments like having a conversation today about somebody that, it was like wanting to change my story of being dyslexic and feeling like I'm less than. I had to have a conversation with somebody because I am not less than anybody else, even though they think I can't do things. And I cried a little bit because when I'm going through that story of lower self-esteem, of being kind of pigeon-toed into being, I don't want to call it stupid, but stupid, you know? I'm not stupid by any means. That, going through that it was okay that I was feeling down at that moment. And I told her that I'm releasing this story. I'm releasing this story of being pigeon-toed into a concept that I am not. So going forward in that dance of who we are and what we're going forward, do these things that be who you are in the moment, feel those emotions. But no, like I have someone who's dealing with some grief right now, and she wanted to not be depressed, and she felt she was sliding down in depression, but she's doing things to stop it. So going forward and doing these things, find these things out for yourself. But first off, like Man on the Moon said about, I'm going to say that again because I think that was pretty important. Self knowledge and self love are the sources of confidence, not only oneself, but also confidence in the universe, since each person is the center of its own universe. We are the center of our universe. We are not our consequence or our circumstances around us, even though the circumstances around us impact who we are. My conversation today could have left me down. It didn't. I'm actually quite proud of myself. Now, I wish I would have said certain things, but I'm going to remember some of those things so I know that if the conversation comes up again or more gets added to it later, that it can be what it is and who we are. So trust yourself and be yourself. That is one thing that a lot of us have low self esteem because we're thinking about what other people are thinking of us instead of being who we are. We're amazing. All have amazing gifts, but many of us are afraid to shine them because of the fact that we're afraid people are going to judge us. Yes, people are going to judge us. People are judgmental. But who really cares? Well, I can say I care a little bit, but I got to figure out where that story is coming from. Because I can tell you when somebody is saying something about me, that there's these witnesses. And when we have witnesses of ourselves, we can go forward. So be your own witness and say, you know what? I've come a long ways. I've done a lot of inner work. I've done what I've needed to do. Now it's time for me to shine. So thank you for saying this again. It's an intellectualized way of saying it but that's it. Yes. You have, I have a book in me that really wants to get out. Dyslexic part of me. I'm knowing that this is my dyslexic part of me. And this is the part that's being really awakened to say, we've got it, girl. And I'm going to say yet, not but. I have a book in me, yet I have not, I'm finding a way to be able to get it out of me. Because the fact that when I have a conversation with somebody else, it's amazing what comes out of me. And they go, God, you should write a book. I'll find a way. Because things will happen in its right timing. I have to trust that. I have to trust that. Because my soul knows what to do and it will call it in, right? So believing in who we are, believing in this work, that's the best thing you do for yourself. So try standing in front of the mirror once in a while. Doesn't matter who you are. And really look into yourself. Don't be afraid what you see, because what you see is going to be amazing. Even if it's a little bit of that, But go past that. Go past that. Oh, and look into you. Look into your eyes. Don't look at your face. Look into your eyes and really see who's there. Because it's time to believe in you. Time to believe in you. I think it's time to pull some cards. Does anybody want a oracle card pulled for them? Let's see. Who wants to come out today? Oh, Gentle Creatures wants to come out. I love this deck. It is pause. Look at that. Pause. Even when you have isn't that a perfect card? I just pulled it open like that. And pause. Look at that flower. Even though they're looking down, there's something amazing in that flower. So, gentle creatures. Oh, you want a gentle creature, Veronica. Thank you. And then I'm going to do, today it'll be fairies. So either fairies or gentle creatures. So Veronica, did you change your mind? Do you want fairies or do you want gentle creatures still? And I will do gentle creatures for you because I know you like that group too, or that card deck. So if you want a card deck or oracle card for you, I don't need to know. The cards know. Oh, you want to change it to fairies? Okay. There's a reason why I asked, wasn't there? Okay. So if you want an oracle card, what you can do is just say what you want and the cards know what you need. Okay. So trust. So I don't need to know, but I'm asking you to put intention out. So I'm going to do this, Veronica. So fairies. And it's this deck here that I'm doing. Okay. And then I'll shuffle for you. So this is for Veronica. So Veronica, if you can put out the intention of what you would like. It's kind of like the airwaves. So anybody else want a card? Because I'm going to have to cut this off at 5. So what is the card that needs to be pulled for Veronica? You know what? This one here is like really yelling at me. So this one here, autumn. And the saying on the bottom is, move my finger here. The saying on the bottom of this one is, in the fall season, something comes together for you. Recap wonderful harvest of abundance. So let me get to autumn and read autumn for you. Autumn. So autumn says, Stand up for your beliefs. Oh, no, that's assertiveness. Sorry. Autumn. There we go. But in the fall season, everything comes together and you reap wonderful harvests of abundance. The answer to your question will be fully reaped in the autumn, just like garden patch. You'll experience blessings along the way. Keep tending your manifestations by maintaining positive thoughts, affirmations, prayers, and taking a guided action. The fruits of this work will be ready as the leaves start to turn and the air starts to chill for the fall season. Future meaning of this card is return to school. Project is nearing completion. Visit or move to a location where the leaves turn bright colors in the fall. Grow vegetables or herbs. So, you're going through a lot, Veronica, and I feel like that even if things happen between now and fall time, that you're going to kind of feel like you're going to catch a breath in that time. I'm tapping in intuitively for you because I know your situation. That that your awarenesses of things processing through you will shift a little bit more. So keep walking forward, keep trusting. What did it say about in between now and then? Keep tending to your manifestation by maintaining positive thoughts, affirming prayer, taking guided action. So keep walking forward, my dear, with as positive uprightness you can. Okay. Hope that helps. Is there anybody else who would like a card? I would love to do another one. So it's either gentle creatures or the fairies. You're more than welcome, sweetie. Okay, so nobody's speaking up. I'm going to do a card for everybody here, and I'm going to do the gentle creatures. I got this deck when I was down in California this last summer, and everybody just says it's you. This deck is you. And I would say it feels good. Okay, what do you want us to tell people? Knock, I'm hearing. Knock it, clear them. If anybody else want a card, please let me know. There we go. What is the greater message that everyone needs to hear for this upcoming time? Oh, I'm hearing top card. Oh. Invitation. Invitation. Look at that card. Isn't that so sweet? Oh my gosh, look at they're peering over the side of the house or the tree house, and one is down. What are they doing? Oh, one's looking at a bird. One's looking at a bird, and the other one's bringing something up from the bottom. But look at how much the tree is alive up above the home. And it goes up in. Invitation. Let me read this one. And that's by H.I. Invitation. Ah, my ear came out. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to try to get this up here so that people can see what it is here. Get rid of the lighting here. Okay, invitation. Let's be playmates. You can climb the stairs to look over the world with us. Our two gentle creatures, younglings, have created a marvelous treehouse for themselves and have dreamed up all kinds of imaginational activities, but they don't want to play by themselves. So they have issued an invitation to their friends. One has answered their playful call, eager to see the wondrous things higher up. The big fluffy clouds descend a little butterfly. The new arrival has been welcomed and encouraged to climb the stairs and join the others. Hang over the balcony to enjoy the expansive view. Look up and see the sky through the leaves and branches. Sorry, my ear is ringing and I'm hearing something. Be joyous. I was hearing the guides were ringing my ears saying, be joyous. Be joyous. Okay, let's get back to reading. Sorry. You know, when your ears ring, do you ever stop and see what they want to tell you? Because a lot of times that's when the universe is talking to you. So I had to do that because my ear was ringing. Look up and see the sky through the leaves and branches. Scramble through the rooms. This is an invitation to be part of something new and unknown. All you need to bring is your imagination and your enthusiasm. The most enticing invitations are the ones when you never know what will happen next. You never know what will happen next. And that's one thing that is going to happen in this world. We do not know what's happening next. So take advantage and be in the moment now and find the joyous moments, as they were telling me with my ear ringing. Find the joyous moments when you can. Because one never knows. One never knows what's going to be. I do hope you have a good rest of the week. It's Wednesday. We got Thursday and Friday, and some of us work on the weekends, but I do hope that you have an amazing moments where you can look at something and go, I am grateful. And darn it, I'm upright and walking. And if you're not upright and walking, maybe there's a way to find gratitude in what you can do and what you are doing. Everybody has a different perception. Everybody has a different life. We have a kid who's in a wheelchair. And he's having to struggle as a pre-K, pre-kindergarten, up a ramp with his wheelchair. First couple days he couldn't do it. Now he does it, no problem. Find joyous where you can. Think I'm going to leave it there. So if you're looking for help with this, please subscribe to my station or like or share if somebody can use this message. This is going to be on podcast later. So if you know of somebody who wants to listen to podcasts, they can look for Life Clarifications with Natasha. And that's where you can find podcasts of both the Dance of the Soul and Life Clarifications with Natasha. Blessings to all. And remember, you are magical. And I can help you find that magic if you would like a private session. Blessings all. May love be with you. And remember, the angels are here to help you. And Mary and Jesus, a lot of guides are helping you too. Bye now. Blessed be.